Hello Wolfpack, Bitcoin Cash today. Bitcoin Cash is seen as an outlier to a certain extent in the market. People don't like Bitcoin Cash generally. They think that Bitcoin is just a better version of Bitcoin Cash. And while I think, fundamentally I agree with you, I also think Bitcoin Cash solves some problems that Bitcoin is unable to solve at this point in time. In the past, it would have been easy to see why Bitcoin Cash was relevant, and now as the Lightning Network comes out and cheaper transactions with fast transaction times are coming out on the Bitcoin network, it's hard to see how Bitcoin Cash still has a use case. However, I think it does, right? I think Bitcoin Cash will always has a niche. For example, even with the Lightning Network, one of the arguments you could use is that for everyone to set up or each individual to set up a node on the Lightning Network might be a bit time consuming or might be a bit inefficient. And so Bitcoin Cash is, for the way I see it, the superior payment method for individuals, whereas Bitcoin is the superior payment method or payment, receiving method for institutions and corporations. I think on an individual level, for individuals, for the day-to-day person, Bitcoin Cash is currently easier to use. And obviously, there is the sustainability argument for it. Well, what if Bitcoin catches up one day? For sure, that could happen, and I'm not here to argue against that. The fact of the matter is, I'm not really in Bitcoin Cash for the fundamentals, right? I'm in Bitcoin Cash, and I say in, right? I'm not in anything right now, but I'm in Bitcoin Cash, and I like Bitcoin Cash due to the fact that it has a very strong community and due to the fact that it has very strong branding, okay? Branding, okay? I did marketing in university, and I can tell you right now that branding is one of the most important things a company can have or a coin can have, because it doesn't really matter what the coin delivers. If it can brand it well, if it can market it well, that's what matters from a technical analysis standpoint, because the price goes up, right? And people get interested in that coin. And I think Bitcoin Cash inherently has an advantage, right? Because it has the name Bitcoin, okay? And same thing with Ethereum Classic, okay? Why do you think these coins are relevant? Do you think these coins would be relevant if they were just any other coin? No, they wouldn't be, right? Because they'd have competition like Digibyte, like Nano to come up against. But now it has the name Bitcoin, has the name Bitcoin Cash, and for that reason, the new people coming into the market, okay, specifically in altcoin seasons, which we haven't really seen much of in this cycle, but specifically in altcoin seasons, when there's a bunch of new people coming to the market, a bunch of retail interest, they flood into anything that sounds familiar, and all people know about on cryptocurrency on the general outside world is probably NFTs, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and so they're going to flock to things like Bitcoin Cash because it's familiar, okay? So regardless of the fundamentals and regardless of what you think about the fundamentals, and I can't say I'm particularly brushed up on the fundamentals, right? First and foremost, I'm a technical analyst, so I'm not going to be the most savvy person when it comes to fundamentals and random altcoins. However, from a technical analysis standpoint, it really doesn't look too bad. And we can look into the price chart right now, which is what we're going to be doing. What's the topic of this video? And we'll ask the general question, is Bitcoin Cash bottomed out? And the answer to that question is, it's very possible that it could be. We are in a strong range on Bitcoin Cash, like we are on a lot of Dino coins that were prominent in the market in 2017. And here is the range. Okay, so we'll draw it out right now. We can get a rectangular box on TradingView right now, and we can draw out a range in which we have multiple touch points on Bitcoin Cash. And that range would be between, probably depending on how you drew it, between 508 USD and 374 USD. That would be the major support zone, not the range, but the major support zone for Bitcoin Cash. You can see that throughout the entire cycle, all the way from November last year, right? All the way from November last year. We were rejected, came back up over it, held a support, came back up over it, held a support here, held a support, rejected, held a support, right? And you could argue these were holding a support, but you could also argue they weren't, so we won't count that in. And currently we're in that region, and there's a lot of support in this region. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 separate occasions in which we have interacted with this green box, in which it has acted as both resistance and support on multiple occasions. This green box, essentially, from what I'm seeing on the chart, this green box is a major point of contention on Bitcoin Cash and a major buying zone, a major accumulation zone for this cycle. However, the question has to be asked, right? If I'm bearish on the market, which I am to a certain extent, okay, bearish or at least cautious, depending on how you want to describe it, do I think Bitcoin Cash is going to perform well? Well, no, I don't, okay? But I also think that there is a decent probability that we will be seeing an altcoin season. And so in this video, I will outline the steps in which we need to be taking on Bitcoin Cash for me to think that it is going to be safe for a profitable entry, okay? What we can do to kind of add on to what we've just drawn there is draw the top of the range. And the top of the range would be another rectangular region that we would have between around 806 USD. And you could argue as to where the bottom would be, but you'd probably be safe to put it around here at 735 USD. And we will make this box red, okay? So let's just go over what we've just said. We'll make this box red first. Okay, so we have a major zone of support between 375 and 510, and a major zone of resistance between 740 and 805, okay? That is the range for Bitcoin Cash. Anything below 815 USD or 805 USD is ranging for Bitcoin Cash. When we break out of that region, that is going to be an indicator that Bitcoin Cash will go parabolic, okay? All we need to do is look at the past. When this happened, when we broke out of this region, Bitcoin Cash came back to, okay, you'll notice this right now. I'm going to draw this out quickly, okay? We broke out to the upside. We went up around 70%, okay, within a matter of, less than a week. We came all the way down, retested the bottom of a box, flipped it for support, came down 40%, and we refueled there, and we made a massive explosion in a matter of about a week or two, 122%, okay? And then we retraced all the way back down, coming down to the green box, coming back up, rejecting, and bottoming out in the green box, okay? So those two boxes are undoubtedly the most crucial levels of support and resistance on Bitcoin Cash. If you like Bitcoin Cash, if you've ever traded it, if you even trade anything, I recommend getting up Bitcoin Cash chart on TradingView, putting this in right now, putting in those two boxes I have, because those are the most important things I can give you from this video, and you will know what to do when you have those boxes in, because when you see the price, if this happens, breaking up above the red box, or even the green box, right? Breaking up above the red box, that's going to be an entry signal. When you see it breaking below the green box, that's going to be a sell signal, or that's going to be a signal for you to wait for much better prices, because much better prices are going to come, right? It's going to go much, much lower. However, I will say for a trading opportunity, every time we have broken above this green box, with one exception, all right, every time we've broken above it, with one exception, we have tested the red box at the very minimum, okay? And so what I will say to you is if we can break above this green box at 510 USD, 505 USD, whatever it is, right, draw it in for yourself, it is highly likely that we will see the minimum of a 45% gain to the bottom of the red box. And so that's a swing trading opportunity that I will keep you guys in touch with on Twitter and probably YouTube if the time comes, if I'm able to get to it in time. But watch these green boxes. There are swing trading opportunities here for Bitcoin Cash for sure. And for those of you short Bitcoin Cash or short anything or use leverage, I don't personally use leverage because I think that the cryptocurrency market is volatile enough. But for those of you who do use leverage, a good shorting opportunity would be waiting for a breakdown below 375 USD, shorting below that point, because every time we have come down, we have tested that point, we've held it for support, dropping below it would cause a sudden crash, right, for sure, for Bitcoin Cash. So those are some opportunities for you guys to kind of get in there in terms of trades. Now, I've outlined some of the opportunities. What do I think is going to happen on Bitcoin Cash? Well, what I think is going to happen, okay, is, let's bring up some indicators to kind of describe what I think is going to happen here, okay? So we have a lot of resistance. You'll notice a lot of resistance here on Bitcoin Cash, and it's quite troublesome, especially since Bitcoin itself doesn't look too great. And there's lots of things that could happen here on Bitcoin Cash. I've outlined some of the scenarios, and now you can understand from what I've just outlined to you guys what to do in either of the scenarios, okay? So this video isn't necessarily about me predicting things. It's about informing of what to do in either of the scenarios. Break out of the green box, buy in, sell at the red. Break below the green box, short it, right? That's what I'm saying. So it's profitable either way. What do I think is most likely? That is a different question. I think that, personally, I think that Bitcoin Cash could actually quite seriously drop below this green box here, okay? But I don't think it's going to happen instantly. I think what will happen on Bitcoin Cash right now is because we're testing the POC on the volume profile. The POC on the volume profile is basically the area in which, given the visible range, which is from November 2020, the most buying and selling contention happens on Bitcoin Cash, okay? So that is at currently 475. We are at 456. When you are below the POC, it acts as resistance, right? We can see we've actually rejected off of it 2 times consecutively in the past, and now we're coming up again and we're rejecting. We're unable to break through to the upside now. Above that, we have the 50-day, we have the 200-day, we have the 20-week SMA, we have the 21-week EMA, and we have a massive chunk of buying and selling contention on the VVPR, okay? On top of all of this, we have the volume decreasing rapidly, which means there's no sustained trend here. That you know, the upwards trend here, the small upwards trend we've had, the little relief rally we've had, is unable to be sustained. And we are topped out on the stochastic RSI. It doesn't look good, okay? That is what I'm saying for Bitcoin Cash right now. It doesn't look very good. There are bullish arguments to be made, okay? But I think right now, the most likely scenario for Bitcoin Cash is that we actually reject further and we come all the way down to the bottom of this green box. I don't think we will break down just yet. I think we will test it down properly, okay? And I think we're going to come down to around 375 USD, okay? And then we might see a little bounce. As to whether that's sustained or not, I can't say, okay? I think we have to look into that at the time. But I do think we'll see a little bounce, but ultimately, it's not looking good in the very short term. However, doesn't really matter what I say, doesn't really matter what my prediction is. I've already told you how I'd be reacting in both of the scenarios, and so let's just wait to see one of the scenarios confirmed. On the weekly chart, we can see on Bitcoin Cash, the opposing view, and that is that the bottom could very well be in. We are bottoming out on the 100-week SMA, okay, and the 200-week SMA, both of which are critical long-term support zones for a bullish continuation. We're on top of those right now. We've held them for 4 weeks consecutively, and it is very likely that we could actually jump to the upside here. On top of this, on the Bitcoin pair, right, the BCH Bitcoin pair, we are at all-time lows, and not only are we at all-time lows, we're testing the all-time lows, and we are very likely going to be forming a double bottom formation if we see an upward swing in Bitcoin Cash here. So, look, I personally think it doesn't look too great. However, the bullish argument is very, very considerable using the Bitcoin pair and using the weekly chart. The daily chart looks terrible, but regardless of what I think, I've already outlined the scenarios. Let me go over them one more time, okay? The scenarios for Bitcoin Cash and how you should be reacting to them. Okay, drop below the green box. If you like leverage, enter a short position, you should be able to cop a 30% gain at the minimum, okay? Break above the green box, probably buy some spot Bitcoin Cash and sell at the top or the bottom of the red box, okay? Those are the two scenarios. Break above the red box, which is the ultra bullish scenario, and you're going to be looking for an exponential rally in which we'd have to determine when we have to sell when that comes, okay? So there are multiple different scenarios, all of which are profitable. Let's wait to see what happens. Right now, Bitcoin Cash is in a bit of a no man's land, right? Technically, it's an accumulation zone for the long term, but it is a bit of a no man's land right now, and we have to wait and see what happens. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll probably have face cam by the time the next video comes out, maybe in maybe 2 days at the maximum. I'm sorry for the delays on that. There's been some delays in the postage service that we use in Australia, AusPost. Terrible service. A few days later, the post has still not come, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But video coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.